All right, so we are going to finish off the last chapter on data and finance. For today's lesson, there we're gonna go over some examples. Notice the solution is actually given. Alright. So for today's lesson, it's a lot more of a discussion thing. It's not calculation. It's discussion. Alright. So data collection. How do we collect data? There are several factors that might lead to problems with data collection. For example, the most obvious one, bias. What is bias? Right.
When the other things influence your vote.
Right. So other influence. So I might say to you, like I might ask what culture is the coolest, and then I might ask Cheyenne, for example. Okay, so all right, so that's what I mean by a quick example. Use of language. So the wording that I use might be influential. All right. Timing. When I collect the data, it could be a factor. So here are some examples that you can read through as well. For the ones that are not as obvious. Okay, privacy. Okay, so for example, people might not want to participate because they feel that they don't want to disclose a lot of their own information. Cultural sensitivity. So the example here, suppose you want to know the favorite method of cooking ham, and then you might ask barbecue, bake, or fry, but then you know that not everybody eats ham. Okay, so uh, so there's some cultural issue there. Uh, ethnic, ethnics. Okay, suppose you tell your classmate that you want to know their favorite snack to help you plan your birthday party. If you then use the information to try to sell your classmate their favorite snacks, then that's not very nice. Okay, who came up? Yeah. Okay. Costs. Okay, so sometimes costs of uh conducting these survey is also a problem. So right now we might have like digital, but back in the days they had to use paper ballots, and all those is printing costs. Okay, and time, the time that it takes to conduct the survey or make the survey, and also to for the people to do the survey. That's also a factor, right? So you want to know these type of these problems, these potential problems that there could be when uh, making a survey, when collecting data. Right? So for example, for each survey question, explain why a problem may occur and the effect it could have on the result. Suggest how each problem could be avoided. So A survey is conducted to find out if citizens think the local government should provide more money for youth activities. The question asked was, would you support an increase in tax to create more skate parks? Okay, what's the problem there?
The language is making it a biased word, supporting the increase in taxes.
Okay, increase in taxes. Once people see that word increase in tax, they freak out and they'll say no. Okay,
All skaters are gonna say yes, and everyone else is gonna say we want to pay less.
right. Okay, and the skater, like especially when they say skate park, like what are the grandmas and grandpas gonna benefit from this? They're not. Okay, so yep, definitely uh, problems there. Which of these would it be? Like if you were to just summarize in the one or two words. Yep.
Use of language.
Use of language. Good. All right, this one and yeah, bias. I would say. Uh, yep, those two. A survey is conducted. B. A survey is conducted to find out the level of school spirit. Students are polled about their level of school spirit after the soccer team wins the championship. All right, Charles.
I mean, timing.
Oh, timing. Yeah, definitely. So good one, timing there. All right. Anything else? Any other problem with that? Uh, yeah, I would think like, what if you're not a sports fan? You're not into sports, so it doesn't really reach everybody. But that's why. Okay. And then this next example, Antonia wants to find out if there's a relationship between household income and how much people spend on Christmas presents. Identify potential problems Antonia might encounter and explain how she could deal with the problem. Okay, so household income and how much money people spend on presents. What problem?
It might be like sensitive information.
Okay, sensitive information. So privacy. Yeah. Yeah. Carla?
Cultural sensitivity because not everyone celebrates Christmas.
Right, this is a big one. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. Okay, so how might you change up the question? Instead of asking people how much they would spend on Christmas,
Maybe like ask a ratio so that no one knows how much they actually earn and how much they spend. Just like a ratio.
okay, so a range. Good. Hi. Sure. Yeah, so maybe give a range, or also instead of asking Christmas in particular, they could say the holidays. Yeah, good, right. Doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be any gifts, like birthday or any holiday that they celebrate. Okay, good. Okay, and then on to the back page. Okay, so we talked about the problems that you might encounter when collecting data. Now, how to collect data? Data. That's the second type. Data, tomato. All right, so here are some common sampling methods. Simple random sampling. So you do need to know. So just like how we're discussing right now, you do need to know like the different types of problems and also the different types of sampling. Okay. I think like these ones right here. These ones are not so hard to remember because it's pretty self-explanatory. But these ones are not as easy to self-explain. So make sure you do know the terms. Okay. You could be asked this on the final exam. Okay. Simple random sample. Each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. For example, to select a random sample of 5 students from a math class, each student is assigned a number and 5 numbers are drawn from a hat. Alright, so this is basically draw names from a hat. So that's the old traditional way. Alright. And then systematic or interval sampling. Every nth member of the population is selected. So this method is often used in manufacturing. For example, every 20th product in an assembly line is tested for quality. If the item is destroyed or unusable after being sampled, then the sample is this destructive sample. Okay, so this one, instead of testing out every single toy, they might say, okay, I'm just testing the 20th one. Okay, and if I just do this for like 100 times, it should be accurate. Okay. Uh, same thing with surveying. So I could be like from this class, I could say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm gonna ask Nicole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna ask Emily 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna ask Cipher and so forth. So that's also what's called systematic sampling. Right? Cluster sampling. Every member of each randomly chosen group of the population is selected. For example, each grade represents a group of the school population. One grade in your school is chosen randomly, and all students in that group are selected. So just like this, how this is suggesting clustered, meaning I'm gonna separate all the grade 9s, 10s, 11, and 12s into clusters. And then for my survey, I'm gonna only survey the grade 9s. Alright, so that's called cluster. Okay. And then let's do stratified first. Stratified random sampling. Some members of each group of the population are randomly selected. For example, 5 randomly chosen students from each grade in a school could be selected, even if each grade has a different number of students. Right? So this one is, again, having them separated into grade 9, 10, 11, 12. But then in my sample size, I'm going to choose one person from grade 9, one person from grade 10, one person from grade 11, one person from grade 12. So that my sample size has one of everybody. Okay. So that's the difference between clustered and stratified. Okay. Okay, and then convenient. Convenient sampling. Only members of the population who are convenient to include are selected. For example, for a survey about grocery shopping habits, people in the grocery stores are approached and questioned. All right. So pretty straightforward. Okay, so whatever the most convenient way is, I'm gonna do my survey that way. And then last one, self-selected sampling. Only members who are interested and volunteer to participate. For example, if a radio station conducts a telephone survey, only people who are interested will call in. Right? So this is volunteer, basically. Okay. So out of these 6, here these 4 are I would say the most important ones. Okay. And then here's like a diagram to help you with what we just explained as well. Okay. So we'll go through some examples on the next page, but do make sure you know this. Okay. Okay. So example 1. The student leadership team wants to find out if students would like the cafeteria to have longer hours. Several sampling methods were suggested. Explain whether each sample is appropriate. So every student's name is put in a box and 100 names are selected randomly to be surveyed. Okay, which one is this? When everyone's name is like the name in a hat. Which one is that? Simple random, right? Alright, now is this a good method or a bad method?
It's good because everyone's selected.
Okay, but what problem would it pose?
Some people don't really use the cafeteria, like, and so they would have to really like it.
Okay, and Charles?
It might be inconvenient to do the process.
Because
Maybe if there's like too many people and you have to select too many names.
yeah, so think about it like what's our population in the school? Do you guys know?
1,000?
More.
1,000?
1,400. So over 1,400 students, you're putting 1,400 students' name in a hat. That's a pretty big hat, first off. And second, out of that, you're only pulling up 100. That's I don't know. Is that a good sample size?
Yes. It's under 10%.
It's under 10%. Yeah, exactly. So not even 10% of the population.
It's supposed to be under 10%.
But well, I think that's low. I think that's low. Under 10%.
Otherwise, it doesn't satisfy the condition for interpreting it.
Yeah, so like if you want a more meaningful, then you would want more representation. So I think 100 people seems too little. All right. Every 5th person entering the school is selected. Every 5th. Systematic. Okay, so very straightforward. Whenever you see like every 5th, every 10th, every 20, every 100, that's like automatically the systematic one. All right. What problem might this pose? Every 5th person entering the school. Yeah. Why? Not. Okay, good. Yeah. So every fifth person entering the school might not be evenly distributed because they're different grades. What other problem might you have if you're just thinking like every person that comes through the front door? How many doors do we have in the school? A lot, right? So, yeah, spread out the entire leadership team, guard every door. Okay. C. Each person on the leadership team asks his or her friends. Yeah.
Bias, because friends are. It's not a very accurate, good sample size of the entire population.
Okay, so that's the problem. But what type of sampling method did they use? Convenient, right? So just asking your friend, convenient. And then an announcement is made asking anyone who wished to participate to fill out a ballot. Yeah, self-selected. Okay. And the sample is likely not appropriate because only students who have strong opinion about this topic may respond. All right. So likely only people who want to have longer hour will participate. Those who don't care or will probably don't say anything. Okay. Um, this one. A company package a box of granola bar. The quality control manager inspects the first 5 boxes each morning to ensure that each has the same number and type of granola bars inside. Is this a good way to ensure quality control? Yeah.
No, because they could go down at the end of it.
Because it could.
They could go down at the end of the day.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So not a good way because the people working on the assembly line might be more alert in the morning, and then by the later on, it may not meet the manager's standard, but they're never inspected. Okay, so just 2 other methods of sampling that would be appropriate. Stephen? Okay, so yeah, whenever you do production line, remember the systematic is one that's like the most commonly used. Okay, so maybe every 50th box. Okay, one other method. Yeah.
The same chance of being
Yep, good. Okay, so randomly sampling throughout the day, not just in the morning. Okay, okay, last bit. So as I said, like today's lesson is more like discussion based. It's not really a lot of there's no calculation today. Okay. So last example. So now that we know how to collect data and we know the problems with collecting data, we can think of the plan. All right. Possible steps to consider when collecting data. Prepare the question, identify the population, how to collect the data, and then analyze the data that you collect. Okay, so for example right here, uh, suppose a frozen yogurt company considers adding a new flavor to its menu. Decide how to conduct a survey to determine whether new flavors should be added to the menu. Okay, so first off, prepare the question. What would your question be? Yep.
Should the new flavor be added to the roster?
Okay. So you could suggest a new flavor and then ask the people if they would like a yes or no question, right? Um, or or as you guys seen on most survey, you have like these scale of 1 to 5, and then you could be like strongly dislike or strongly like the flavor, and then they would just circle. All right, so that's the preparing the question. Identify the population and possibly choose a sample. Okay, so how are you gonna choose your population? Who do you ask? Yeah, people who come to the store to buy yogurt. Okay, if people don't buy yogurt, there's no point in asking them. So it could be people entering the yogurt store. Okay, how can we collect the data then? What method should we use to collect the data? So people coming into the store, one of the methods, one of the sampling methods, systematic, yeah. So like every 10th person coming in, I could collect the data. And then once you conduct the survey and get the data, what are you going to do with that data?
Determine whether you're going to continue.
Okay. So how though? Like just look at every single ballot and then like remember what they said? The average, right? Calculate average, calculate the mean, calculate the rating. And so what do you think tomorrow's lesson is going to be on? Mean, median, mode. Right. Okay. So yes, and also box plot tomorrow. Mean, median, mode, you guys know how to calculate. It's easy. But box plot is the new thing that we are going to learn tomorrow. Okay. So, great discussion today. That's all it is. Your for the rest of the class and homework, page 4. Alright, but it's actually not a lot because what's on the bottom? Yeah, answers are on the bottom. Question.
On the page it says a 50% down. Oh, why can't they just say a box?
Yeah, there's a lot of names for it. There's also a whisker.
Yeah.
It's called a whisker plot. Yeah. They all mean the same thing.
Oh, that was one of the packages. Okay, is it the one where it's like?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We'll learn it tomorrow.
I was looking at that thing and I was like, what is that?
You'll learn everything. You'll learn everything before next week. Okay, so what's for homework? Page 4. Okay, good job, guys.